My name is Nicole Schmida. I'm the marketing specialist here at DocuWare. I'll be moderating the session today. The webinar will be presented by Cam Rashan, Regional Sales Director here. On the right is today's agenda. So for the first few minutes, Cam will go over, why smart document control, how it's an easy and quick entry point for, digital document storage and automating your, workflow processes. Then he'll go into a live introductory demo so you can see, some of the features in action. And then at the end, we'll open it up for some Q&A. Before we jump into the official slides, we want to hear from you. So we actually have a short poll question for you. So I'm actually going to launch that right now, and it's going to show up on your screen, and you'll be able to select a choice. So the question we have is, how are you handling your document management now? There's a few choices. So if you can go ahead and pick one. Maybe you don't have an official system in place at the moment, or you do have a system, but it's paper only, or maybe you have some combination of paper and digital, but not a specific software, or maybe you already have a single solution or other. Feel free to put your answer for that in the question box. So just going to give it another, 30 seconds or so until we have about 75% voted here. Thank you again for participating. If you haven't already, please select one of the options on your screen. Looks like we're almost there. And then once I close the poll, I'm gonna share the results so we can kind of see, everyone on the line, like kind of what are they working with now in terms of their document management. All right, we're almost there. Oh, so close, so close. Just want to get a good amount of responses here. All right, so looks like we're good. So I'm going to close the poll now and share the results. So let's close it and share. So on your screen, you'll see, everyone on the line, kind of what they're working with at the moment. It looks like majority of people, they have a combination of a paper and digital system that they've put in place themselves, but no specific software. So, thanks for joining and checking out DocuWare and seeing, what it can offer you. So, thanks again. And with that now, I'll have Cam jump into the DocuWare Smart Document Control solution, and then you'll be able to see it in action. All right, thanks everyone. And Cam, you
All
should be good to go right now.
right. Thank you, Nicole, and good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to wish everyone the very best of health. Thank you for taking some time of your busy day to join us for this webinar. I'll do my utmost to make this as interactive and as fun for you guys. I'm also very excited at the chance to present our latest pre-configured solution, what we call Smart Document Control. Now, much like the rest of our pre-configured solution, Smart Document Control is a true out-of-box, ready-to-use system that's got all the workflows, all the processes, all the system configuration, everything already baked into the application. What this means to you is that you can literally spin a cloud instance, create a trial account, and immediately utilize the features that you see before you and all the things that I'm going to show you as part of this demonstration. Now, there's a lot more to this application. Obviously, our time is limited. But I personally encourage you guys to work with your DocuWare partners to set up a trial account. I mean, it's a real simple process, very painless. Probably takes less than 5 minutes to do so. And that way you can experience the benefit, the functionality, and everything the system provides firsthand. So if you're currently using a file share, or you're storing documents in a folder, or uploading documents to a cloud storage application, or you're thinking in the future that's what you want to do, I really like to take the next 20 minutes to show you a much better alternative. And that's what we call the Smart Document Control experience. Now, of course, it all starts with our ability to control the process. how we capture the documents, how we index these documents, how we name these documents, how we store these documents, how we tag these documents, the assignment of the appropriate permissions on who and what information users have access to. And we'll see that when I go through our demonstration piece where I'll store a document that needs to be shared for everyone. That's the one for all. The one that is for some people where we are collaborating within a small subset of people, and a document that's for me, a private document that I want to store. And how that process can enhance the collaboration and sharing of your core business documents. So as we go and proceed through this journey together, I really would like you to compare and contrast your current process with what the smart document control way could be and could potentially help you guys. Now, we obviously all have better things to do with our time than just to store a document for no reason. And vast majority of us store documents because something needs to happen to that document. There's got to be an activity that's assigned to that document. And that's where smart document control can really make that process super easy and managing those activity. And we do that by utilizing what we call an action date. Okay, so all you got to do is simply store the document, set an action date, then all of those users that have either been given access to this document or you've shared this document with automatically get notification, they get alerted that, hey, there is a document that requires your attention. Here's the appropriate action to take on this document. And by the way, this is the deadline by which this document needs to be addressed. That way you can then trace and monitor where that file is within that process. And hence our slogan, never miss a deadline again. Now, I got to tell you, I am certainly guilty of missing deadline quite frequently. And this is an incredibly useful feature. I can attest to it myself. Okay. Now, smart document control, like DocuWare, is a true SaaS offering. It's a true cloud application. What that means is access to these documents is not limited to devices and locations. So all you need is a simple internet connection, and then any user, regardless of location, they can access their documents. So if you're out and about, if you're working from home, if you're enjoying a beautiful day on a golf course, and you can be just as productive as anyone else that has access. All right, enough of me talking about it. I think probably the most interesting point is what does DocuWare look like and how we can streamline some of these processes. So I'm just going to jump directly into the live demonstration portion of it. So what you see before you is DocuWare. Again, as you can see, it's a browser-based app. It's incredibly intuitive. It's very streamlined interface. It's not a very busy interface. Therefore, user adoption is very, very high. That's something that we're very proud of with our application. There are really two parts to this software. On the left-hand side, this is your workspace. This is where you do majority of your work, majority of your time is spent over here. And on the right-hand side, this is where you're able to view the documents that you're working on, right? Everything starts with the concept of a document tray. This is where we are able to bring documents, keep those documents until such time where we are ready to permanently archive these documents into a digital file cabinet. Now, to get documents into a document tray, we have myriad of ways of getting that done. So if you got documents that are already in a digital format, we can monitor and import those documents directly into the system. We can monitor shared drives where you can use it for your network scanner, for your multifunction devices, for your fax servers. We have direct integration with all the email services. So if you have Outlook, Gmail, we can automatically monitor those email boxes and bring the document. Again, if you got documents, regardless of whether digital or paper, we are able to ingest that within the same platform. right? So once the document is here and we have now collaborated, we've finished what we want to do, we then need to store it. And when it's stored and permanently archived, we're now able to search that document. And so we can now do search across a myriad of ways. So I can do a full text search where I can just type in a value that might be contained within the document itself, and it does a federated search and finds all the documents that has that keyword or keywords already inside of it. Or we can then use what we call indexing or cataloging information to really narrow that search. So if I'm looking for a particular document type, or I'm looking for a particular date where the document was stored, or the document action date, or whatever, I can go ahead and narrow. Instead of having several search, I could just very much have a more get granular search. And by the way, all these indexing values you see here are completely configurable and can be built from scratch. Okay. Next, we have the concept of list. List is our concept of a dashboard. This is a dynamic query where it shows you where a document is within the process, right? So, for example, your contracts, if they're going to expire within a certain time frame, if you want to look at the documents that have been assigned to you and require your attention within the next 30 days, today, whatever, those documents are here. So users can just simply come to that dashboard and be able to see the documents that they need to follow up on. Tasks are individual work that's either assigned to a user or a group of people as part of a workflow process. Again, great way to use it is maybe within HR, within accounts payable, within your sales division, where there are a lot of people that need to touch a document and a lot of people that need to approve and partake as part of the process. And here's where you can see the tasks that are individually assigned to you. And now we also understand a lot of people prefer different ways to search. So if for those customers or users that are very much used to the Explorer point of view and they like to find documents navigating through a folder structure, obviously we can also accommodate that for that. Okay. All right, now a little bit about what you guys are about to see. I'm logged in here as myself. I'm actually using 3 different personas to kind of show how this collaboration and storage of this document can take place. I'm also logged in as Johnny and Betty, 2 of my other colleagues that are working. Now, in an ideal world, obviously everybody would be logged in on separate systems, but for the purpose of this presentation, I'm showing everything from one spot. Okay. Now, if I do a quick search into my filing cabinet and see that what I currently have, you see that I have a single document that's already been archived in my document cabinet, in my digital document cabinet. If I do the same thing for Johnny, you see that there's nothing there. If I do the same thing for Betty, again, she doesn't have anything in there. So we're starting from a very clean slate. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to my document tray. Like you see, there are 3 different documents here. Now, how do I get a process of storing a document? How easy is it to store a document inside the file cabinet? Well, let's start with my first document. This happens to be an employee contract document. I can see on page 1 of 4. This is obviously a document that I don't want to share with a ton of people. This is a private document for me, so I only want myself to be able to see that, even though I'm storing it into the same file cabinet or a shared file cabinet. How do I go in and manage this? So I just simply select Store Dialog. I select what type of document this is. This is one that is for me. When I select that, I'm presented with some indexing parameters that says, hey, listen, tell me a little bit about this document. That way I can catalog this document. And when you're looking for that very particular document, we can kind of narrow that search and find it. Now, you can use all, you can use some, you can use none of it. Again, the sky is the limit in terms of how you like to do that. Now, for document type, you see there is a drop down. If I select that, you see that there is a ton of different document types and a lot of different subcategories that are associated for each document type. Now, all of these, by the way, are preloaded with the system. Like I said, this is a fully baked solution that you can immediately start using. So if I select the document type in this case, and I know that this happens to be a contract document, I can just start typing C, and it actually does a search. It shows me all those document types that start with that value or that letter C. So I can see I have a company file, I have a contract document. So I can really quickly select the document type. Now when I select the subtype, you see that my subtype is now filtered, sub-filtered to show me only those document types or subtypes that are available for contract. Think about how powerful this is when it comes for you to control the process of how files are stored and how the structure of those documents. So not everybody is creating their own folder hierarchy, and now you're in a maze trying to look for documents. So I'm going to select this as an employment subtype. Now I can go ahead and enter some other data. Again, you can use all of it or none of it, but I like to use almost everything that I have because then it gives me a much more granular search. So for the company name, I can go ahead and start typing. We got a better way to do that, right? I can just simply highlight Mickey Mouse Inc., right? And as you can see, as soon as I highlight and put my mouse on that document, it actually extracts that document directly for me. For the contact name, I can go ahead and just drag and drop. Again, look how easy it is to go ahead and index a document. Not is it faster, but also it removes all the user errors that we are prone to by fat fingering and putting information here. Now, I want to set an action date. You know, Mickey Mouse Incorporated, my current employer, has given me the end of this month to say, review employment contract. Maybe you want to make some modification, get back to us. So obviously, I want to set an action date to as a reminder, especially for someone like me. So I'm going to go ahead and simply select, I want to get back to these guys before the end of the month. And I set an action date. And I'm going to store this document. Once I store this document, it's no longer in my filing cabinet. If I do a quick search, I see that I have another document that's already added beside the original document that I had initially stored. And if I go to my list, my dashboard, I see that there is a new document that says it requires my attention. So now I have a reminder, a tickler that can remind me. I can be constantly reminded, hey, you have not addressed this document. You got 2 more days before the deadline. So I can constantly be reminded and never have to forget about that. Okay. Now, if I go to Johnny and I do a refresh on his search, same as Betty, you see that they don't have access to this document. How? Because I did not share it with them, and this is a private document. So as simple as that, I was able to store a document and control the permission, or better yet, the system control the permission for me. All right. What about a document that I want to share with a bunch of people? This is a file that I want to share with everybody. This is something that everyone should have access, a collateral document, as you can see. Again, I select my store. I say this happens to be a document I want to share for everyone. Again, the same very simple indexing parameter comes in. Tell me a little bit about this document. You know, I know this is a white paper. I can go ahead and just start typing away. It filters and shows me all the things that matches my entry. I can now see the subtype and I see only one category, technical document is available. I can now go ahead and grab the title information, the subtitle created by, I had nothing to do with this, I'll be honest with you guys, but I'm going to give myself full credit. And, you know, everything else that I want to go ahead and put as part of this. Now, I don't necessarily need to put an action date. This is something I'm just sharing with people. No one needs to follow up with it. I'm just going to simply store that. Okay. If I come back to my search, I can see that there is a document called white paper that's also available within my filing cabinet. This is another document. If I go to Johnny and I say, hey, Johnny, I'm looking for anything that is white paper, and I just type in white, you can see the documents, you can easily see that, and it's also available. And the same thing for Betty. So now I have a document that has been shared with both of these individuals, and both individuals have full access right. Okay, so let's recap what we have just done, right? So in one fell swoop, I was able to store a document for myself, set it as a private document, and not have anyone else have access to it, even though it's the same filing cabinet. I then share the document and assign it for all users. And again, very simply, within a matter of a few seconds, made that available to everyone. But what about a document that I want to collaborate on, right? It's not a document that I may necessarily want to share with a bunch of people. It's a document that I want to collaborate with a subset of people or maybe another individual. So how do I make that happen? So I'm going to go ahead and select, and I can see, hey, I have a choice called for some. I select that. Again, I have the same information. So what is this document type? Let's say this happens to be a letter. I can select that. I can then see what sort of subcategories I have already defined. I see this I have received and sent. I can then go ahead and enter the rest of this information that I really need. So I can go ahead and put the company name, the contact person, the email address. Look how easy it is to capture this information. Even if it's a long line, I can just drag and drop and it captures all of that. I can then go ahead and get the project number, right? And the document tape. So there, the document date, there we go. And I want to do an action date. I want someone to address and look at this and give me some feedback. So I'm going to say, I like to set an action date by the end of the month for an action to take place on this document. But here comes the beauty of the system, right? Now I want to collaborate with someone. How do I invite this person to have access to it? Well, probably most generic way is to use email, right? I can then customize my email and put some information that would personalize this. I'm going to say, maybe, hey, Betty, please review and comment. Oh my goodness, if I could only type and comment, right? Jeez. All right. Now look at the beauty here. I can now find out what permission set I want to give to this person. Do I want to give them read access? And it actually tells you what these permission rights are here. A read access means that whoever I share this document with can download, can maybe email the document, but they cannot change this document. And they certainly cannot edit or store this document. For that, they need to have the edit right, where they can actually modify and change the version control. And if I make them an owner, they can store this document as well as also have other ownership right where they can then assign other users to have read, edit, and ownership access. Well, for this, I'm just going to go ahead and select Betty. I'm going to say, hey, Betty, I'm going to give you edit functionality. Simple as that. Now I can go ahead and store. Okay. And when I store this, again, you'll see that it is a new document that's stored. But if I go back into my list, I see I have now another document that requires attention because obviously we have till the end of the month. And you can see the action date happens to be on the 30th for the first one and on the 31st for the one that I shared. If I go to Johnny and I do a search, as you would expect, he doesn't get to see it. I did not share this with Johnny. Again, we're all using the same filing cabinet, right? But on Betty's side, what I have done is I've already provided it a notification. As you can see, a brand new notification went to her and says, hey, Betty, you have been given a document by Cam Roshan. She could just simply click on the document link over here and be brought into the interface. I tell her that this is, I've given you edit permission. Again, by the way, all of this information is completely customizable. I'm giving her some pertinent information about this document. So she's not notified. She comes into the system and then she sees that, hey, there is a list assigned to her that requires her attention as well. As if you can see, there is a document. Now, if you recall, her task was that I have given her edit, right? So she can actually edit this document. Look how simple we make that edit process. This is a Word document. All I got to do is just click on the edit button right here. Not having to leave the document, not having to leave the interface. Momentarily, it's actually going to go ahead and open up Word, the actual document type, or the system or the application that is required to make those changes. So I can go ahead and make my modification. I'm going to say, maybe please change the address highlighted. right? And maybe I highlight this area and this is a modification change that I want. All I gotta do is just close this, save this, and in a matter of few seconds, you'll see that it'll automatically update both the document itself, as you can see, and it shows the modifications that she has made on the system. So in very quickly, I was able to share it. She can modify it, but then now I can also see, hey, what's happening with the version, right? And so this was the original document that was assigned by me on such and such date. And now I can see because the update took place, the system automatically gave it a version control, right? So I know that Betty has modified this on such and such time. So now that whole versioning control has been taking place. So now if I share this with other people, they're not looking on a bunch of different versions and everybody just wasting their time. They're always looking at the current version of that document. Just that simple in terms of how we can collaborate. Now, compare and contrast that, what it would take for you to do the same thing within, let's say, folder hierarchy, or if you have it on OneDrive or Google Docs or Google Drive, wherever the case might be. How simple is that process to manage from that? All right. Last thing I want to show you guys is how do I then collaborate? How do I sign the document? So, this was the original file that I had saved. This is a document that is one that is a standard operating procedure. This is something that I want to sign to almost everybody and have them read and go through with it, right? So here's how intuitive the process is. All I got to do is just use the stamp feature. I click on it. I'm then provided, based on my permission right, certain stamps. These stamps drive activities, right? So I can share documents. I have a stamp for deletion or setting a retention rate. Because of time allowed to us, I'm just going to use assignment, right? When I click on the stamp, you see that it's asking me, hey, tell me something about the activity. So I can personalize this. I'm going to say, uh, please read. Sorry about that. Right? I'm going to say, hey, everybody needs to get this thing done. This is standard operating procedure. So the activity date needs to happen on the 31st. And now I can select what permission right do I want to have and who I want to invite in this. I'm going to go ahead and select both Betty and Johnny and whoever else that I want to add to this process. And I'm going to give them only read access. I don't want to modify the original standard operating procedure, just to download, read it, maybe sign it. I can then select whether I want anyone to do it. Now, if I select anyone, whoever gets to this document and gets it done, it basically finishes the task. But I actually want everyone to finish this because this is something that everyone has to be partake on. And boom, I select that. I simply set that up, right? Now, in a second, you'll see that I will have a new list that pops up. And this is a document that has been assigned by me. If I go there, you see that there is a pending date. I have made this available to everyone. This is a document. It's got my stamp on it. And now if I go to Johnny, okay, and I look at his list and I see the document that's been assigned to him, right? He now has an action within the next 14 days, that's the end of the month, that he needs to go ahead and complete that. And the same thing with Betty. She now too has an action that she needs to partake. So let's start from Betty. I can come over here, I read the standard operating procedure. I now want to complete my task. And then click on the stamp. There is a very well-defined stamp that says assignment complete. I select that and I say read and agreed. Oh, sorry, didn't type. Read and agreed. I told you I'm not a good typist. And I said it, and boom, it's out of my list. It's no longer part of an activity for me. When I come back to myself, you see that I was waiting for someone to pending activity, and I see Betty has done it. I refresh that, I see, hey, Betty has already stamped it, but it's still sitting there. Why? Because I signed it to everyone, right? So I'm still waiting for the rest of the folks to get done. Well, you only got one person that needs to finish this, and that's Johnny. So Johnny sees that, hey, Betty has already done that. So he does the same thing. He clicks on the assignment complete, and then he finishes and says done. And Johnny is brief to the point, and he says that. And once he does that, again, this is out of his task. If I come to myself, I see that momentarily, I no longer have that task. Why? Because everybody has completed the stuff. Now, how do I go by and find this document, right? I can simply click on my search and say I'm looking for all the documents. And here's how that granular search can come in handy. If I do a full text search, for example, I said Mickey, right? I'm looking for anything that starts M-I-C-K star. I'm going to do a search. See, it actually looks within every document and it shows me all the values that it finds and it highlights when it meets that parameters, right? So obviously I'm going to get a few additional hits than I would get if I have more granular search. But if I want to subdivide this instead of a full text search, what if I said I'm looking for a document type or a subtype that happens to be a standard operating procedure that was stored on today, for example. And now I can really narrow down and find that exact document with the appropriate stamps in one shot. Sorry about that coughing. I just got a coughing attack. All right. Well, this concludes the live demonstration. Again, there's so much more to this platform. I would encourage you to work with your DocuWare representatives or reach out to us directly, and we'd be happy to do dive deeper and peel the onions on this. But I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation and continue the rest of that, if you don't mind. All right. So why is it so important for companies, again, regardless of size, but specifically in the assembly space, to invest in a solution like DocuWare, in a content management services? And they have done numerous studies, well-proven studies, and you're more than welcome to do your own little search. But this is one very recently by Nucleus Research that says for every dollar that you spend in a solution like a DocuWare or smart document control, your return on investment is almost 9 times what you spend. And it's really easy to prove that. Think about the level of automation. Think about the cost saving. Think about the increase in productivity, not only just for finding the documents, but if you're using it for different silos. This is not a one-trick pony. You can use it for accounts payable, you can use it for HR, you can use it for any number of different business silos that you have. It's the same application that is flexible enough to grow with your requirements. Also, our cloud storage, right? We've taken lots of effort over many years to really make our cloud infrastructure as robust as possible. So if you're concerned about data security, redundancy, backup, high availability, all of that, disaster recovery, every single one of those ideas is already fully baked into our cloud environment. So you can be set assured that once you put a document into our system, you're not going to lose it, and it's going to be there available for you with minimal. All right, I'm going to pass the baton to Nicole to go over the rest of the presentation.
All right, thanks, Cam. Thanks for that introductory demo. Just have a few slides before we open up for Q&A. I mentioned earlier in the handout section of your GoToWebinar panel, there is a DocuWare case study that you can download, and we will include this in the email tomorrow. So this is a nonprofit that uses DocuWare Cloud, and when they had to switch to remote working, they said it was seamless, that their workflows were running as efficiently as they did when they were all in the office. So definitely read that case study to check out, the full success story. And, there are a lot of user reviews online of, DocuWare on Capterra, G2 Crowd, Gartner Peer Insights. So, definitely, you know, be interested in checking those out. I'll include a link to that in the email tomorrow, but there's over hundreds of user experiences you can check out and get a feel for, what people are saying about DocuWare. And, just want to take the time and, encourage you definitely take the next step in moving forward with, digital document storage and automated workflows. Reach out to us, or if you're already working with a Docker partner, reach out to them to get started, get, maybe a personalized demo or set up a free trial. We wouldn't want you to, stay in like the option 2 lane where you don't do anything and you're stuck in the same place next year. So just wanted to highlight that. Our next webinar, just so you guys know, is going to be Wednesday, April 21st. It's going to be on audit management prep and how there's, like Cam said, there's more Docuware features. So we will highlight the Docuware features that will help you be set up, for stress-free audits and how to, deliver documents quick and easy with Docuware. So with that, we will open it up for Q&A now. Again, what you saw today was introductory. We definitely want to continue the conversation. If you want to request a personalized demo, you can go to docuware.com/demo or reach out to your authorized Docuware partner to get set up with one. If you have any questions or comments, thoughts now or some point down the road, definitely email us at contact@us@docuware.com. So with that, let's see, we're going to open up for Q&A. The first question that we have is, is there a way to assign by group, example, new employees or IT managers, or do I have to manually select every user by name?
Oh, beautiful question. So we can do it a couple of different ways. The easiest way to do it is use your current Active Directory or LDAP, and we essentially write the that exact same configuration that you have and piggyback on how you have already defined the user's goals and roles. That's probably the easiest way to do it. If you don't have that, then obviously we can also define groups and individual roles within Docuware itself. But probably I would say 90+% of people just use Active Directory or whatever you guys are using to manage that on the corporate side.
Great. And next question is, what level of effort does it take to set up the processes that you showed during this demo?
Oh my God. Again, that's another thing that really gets me excited about Smart Document Control, actually about all our pre-configured solutions. I literally created a trial account. Took me, like I said, 5 minutes. After that, I created 2 users, and that was it. Well, I lied. I loaded a couple of documents. That's it. Everything else was already there. I didn't have to do anything with setting up user rights. I didn't have to give them permission. All of that was already baked in within the system. So that's really the true value of this pre-configured solution. I think it's a unique identifier and differentiator for us. So if you have someone that says, hey, I want to use this product, you can spin, like I said, I encourage you, try it. Don't take my word for it, but just try that and see how simple it is to start utilizing it almost immediately.
Gotcha. All right. Someone is asking if they can have this session, the recording. We'll send it out no later than tomorrow morning. Definitely look out for an email from us. Let's see. Someone is asking, does this plug in with Blackboard, Razor's Edge / Financial Edge? I think it's
So
like a
we have
software integration.
Yeah, so we have a couple of ways to do that. The simplest way is by us to screen enable those applications. So while the user is within that application, that this does not require any API level integration. Especially we use screen scrape technology. And while you're on that particular screen, and let's say you're looking for a particular contract, as long as that contract is highlighted, we can then retrieve all the information that matches that search from Docuware and bring it back on screen. There's also an API kit available, REST-based API, that if you want to have a more in-depth integration done, we can also look at it. And then we also have lots of partners that have already done these integrations. So we'd be more than happy if you share a list of those things to find out what are some of the options for you.
Great. Yep. Next question is, you showed modifying a Word document What happens if a PDF document needs modifying? Will the users be able to alter it if they do not have Adobe Pro?
I knew that question was coming up. So in order for us to be able, so none of that is happening within DocuWare. Obviously, what we do is we are able to trigger whatever that the document viewer is. So as long as you have some application that can open up that document, we are able to do that. Otherwise, you would have to download it and open it in that application. But if you have, Adobe or some of the other applications that can manipulate Adobe files, you can make that as your default program. And when you click on edit, we automatically use that. In this case, Word, Excel, things, I obviously have Microsoft Office installed on my machine, and that's why I was able to launch that.
Got it. And just to like a follow-up question,
Mhm.
so you can store, any type of document and view it though in DocuWare in the viewer, right?
Mhm. So that's a very good question as well. So we have no limitation in terms of what document or doc type we can store in our in DocuWare. It could be anything from digital media file. It could be, obviously your run-of-the-mill office documents. All of these documents are stored within the system. Our proprietary DocuWare viewer also allows us to view over 300 different document types. So if you have documents like CAD drawing, Adobe Illustrator file, things that you actually have to have those applications installed in order for you to be able to view it, because our proprietary viewer allows us to, show those documents. Users that are using their mobile devices, tablet, and it might be remote, can actually view the document. Obviously, if they want to edit and modify it beyond just putting maybe some notes on it or things that we can do with our functionality internally, they need to have those applications. But there are also other ways that we can manipulate those data and collaborate, excuse me, on that data by enabling some of the features that we have as our toolkits that are embedded within our system.
Got it. All right. Looks like we're at 45-minute mark now. There is just one more question, but if you need to hop off, definitely look out for the recording email tomorrow morning. This is the last question. Does Docuware offer document parsing? Could one pull out chunks of text from one document into a new one?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the workflow process comes in. So you would basically, it's a little bit more complicated. So what you have to do is you have to have that document, perhaps maybe we create a memo field doc type where you can populate that, and then we can parse that document or that value and extract the information. But yeah, absolutely, those things are done. And that's where the flexibility of the product comes in. Now, keep in mind, DocuWare comes with a full form engine where you can design and digitize any of your current um, forms and make them into digital format. We have a full workflow engine that's already built into the system, so you can create all kinds of different workflows. I mean, there's a ton more to the system. It's not a one-trick pony. You get it, and you can start small. You can start within a single department, but then it can very easily be use across any number of business units, and expansion and expandability is a cinch.
Great. All right. Thanks, Cam. That looks like, the end of our Q&A session. So I just want to thank everyone still on the line. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Cam, for doing that great demo. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Be on the lookout for an invitation to our next webinar, April 21st, on stress-free audit prep.
All
All right,
right.
everyone. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.